Would you like to see my art journal for the Thriving in Retirement program? In the Thriving in Retirement program, you take your class notes in an art journal for these 4 reasons that I will outline now. Because I want to remind you that creativity is your birthright. It's within you now and has always been in you. Using an art journal for note-taking is a subtle reminder that not only are you already creative, you can continue to free your inner artist through your whole life. Another reason I ask you to take your notes in an art journal is because I really want you to savor and remember your experiences in this course. And your art journal will be your repository of this exciting and meaningful journey. You will be able to come back to this journal and add to it in future years, because I hope this will be a journey you will continue to take for the rest of your life. There's no end to the discoveries you will make. Here's a journal I made for another one of my courses, just to give you an idea of how it fills up and it becomes just filled with your treasures and things that you absolutely love. The third reason is because I want to get you used to doing work visually. It's another way to stimulate your creative juices. Art journals are like visual diaries. They combine elements of writing, drawing, painting, and collage. Art journaling is one of the most forgiving ways to make art, because in an art journal, everything you make is safely contained within your own personal book. You might decide to only take notes in your journal for now, and that's fine, to just use it as a notebook. But your journal is pregnant with possibilities for the future. You can come back and add to it over time. It's a space where you can let loose and explore with color, shapes, lines, and words. You might want to add colors, quotes, poetry, photos, tears from magazines, doodles, phrases that are meaningful to you. And the fourth reason is because I want you to discover your unique path of self-expression, and an art journal is the perfect way to do that. All of your ideas that you decide to include in your journal are great. All of them are perfect because your art journal is yours. Your art journal is your place for creative expression and to play with your intuition. Do whatever calls to you and toss any reservations out the window. Your pages will be treasures for you because they are uniquely yours, and your journal will be with you every step of the way on this journey. I like to decorate my pages by painting them in advance because I am a visual learner, and associating a color in my memory with certain experiences helps me remember it. So you can choose not to decorate your pages at all. You can decorate them later, or you can decorate some pages in advance if you like. My art journal is always a work in process, and I often go back and add things to my pages, so this journal will look more full and complete a month from now and a year from now, but this is where it stands today. On my first pages are some class notes that I took from the beginning of the Thriving in Retirement program. We talk about needing a better term than retirement, and I have included a few of my favorite names like My Time, Third Chapter, Rewirement, Jubilation, Joyfulment, and Freedom. In Module 1, we learn about the implications of longevity. What really struck me was the idea that supercentenarians are living to be 110 and beyond. What if after retirement you have 50 more years to live? How will you live so that you feel fulfilled and cultivate well-being and make a difference in the world? In the Thriving in Retirement program, you have a workbook for each module of the course, and in the workbook are some relevant quotes as well as some print and cut images for you to use. I cut and paste some of my favorite quotes from the workbook for Module 1. In Module 2 of the course, we dive into clarifying your purpose. In the workbook that comes with the program, again, there are all kinds of quotes that you can cut and print, and some of my favorites are here in my journal along with my class notes, which you might not be able to read that well amidst all the color, but I know they are there. And this is where my Gifts and Talents page stands right now. It's one of the exercises from the Purpose module. The exercise asks you to explore those things that are uniquely your gifts. Because when you are clarifying purpose, sometimes your gifts and talents are clues to what you might do to make a difference in the world. Another exercise in the Purpose module is called At My Best, where you honestly examine how you are when life is really going well and you are functioning at your best, and then you contrast that with what's going on when life is not going so well for you. I learned so much about myself from this simple exercise. And here's another exercise from the Purpose module of the course where you choose the values that most deeply resonate with you, and then ask yourself why those values are so important to you. The values I chose to more closely examine were creativity, gratitude, and growth and development. These are my notes from another purpose exercise called Best Possible Future Relationship. Again, I learned a lot about myself and what I really want with this exercise. And in this exercise, I explored my true passions and challenged myself with some thought-provoking questions like, if I had 10% more courage, what would I be doing? What would I be doing if I could harness more of my capacity? Diving into numerology is an optional lesson in the Thriving in Retirement program. You can choose to skip it, but I got a lot out of it, and I learned some surprising things about myself. In the program in Module 3, you learn the basics of mindfulness and meditation, and you start a daily practice that will make a profound positive difference in your life. You practice meditation, you find a method that resonates with you, and you learn to meditate because to truly thrive, you have to do some deep inner work. An important module of the course asks you to play with your creativity, and I have a lot of pages devoted to creativity. I like to think of it as freeing my inner artist. Here's another purpose page and some quotes about purpose that I love that I got from the workbook. There's a module on expanding happiness and daily joy, and one of the ways to do that is to very consciously practice kindness and altruism. This is a legacy exercise from the purpose module. In this exercise, you imagine your 90th birthday party where you're surrounded by the people who have interacted with you in your life. What would you like them to say about you? Ask yourself, when I'm no longer here, what do I want people to remember about me? What have you stood for in your life? What kinds of advice did you give people? What were you passionate about? Here's another page about doing random acts of kindness. I learned that the best way to practice this is to do 5 acts of kindness all in one day, and then come back in a journal about what happened and how it made you feel. Here's another exercise about the pleasures in my life, and I'll be coming back to add to this page. And here are a couple more pages about cultivating creativity, playing, saying yes, being open, freeing your inner artist. In Module 5 of the Thriving in Retirement program, we talk about your ideal living situation as you age well. Where would you ideally like to live? What is important to you in your home? We talk about decluttering and perhaps even moving to an entirely different city or country, a completely different lifestyle. Maybe even considering some out-of-the-box ideas for finding your ideal spot to vacation or to live. In Module 6 in the program, you dive deeply into the subject of happiness and joy. You learn more about cultivating optimism, gratitude, the relationship between money and happiness, and more about the science of happiness. You take some concrete steps to increase your own personal happiness, contentment, and daily joy. In Module 7, we study resilience in mind, body, and spirit. Again, you have access to some great quotes and some print and cut words in your workbook, which you can use or not, whatever calls to you in your art journal. This is all about how you choose to nourish your mind, body, and spirit to stay strong and resilient throughout life. In Module 8, you consider the art of dying well. I believe there is such a thing as having a great death. We are all choice makers. There are many ways to leave your fingerprints on the plans and celebrations that will mark your transition from this life. There are some quotes that may inspire you, some images you may like to include in your journal. And in this module, I invite you to write down your plans and intentions and wishes and some templates that make the process of getting your affairs in order pretty easy. And I think this is such a caring step to take that will make a difficult process as easy as possible on your loved ones. And this is an I am mandala. You get a blank one of these in your workbook. I suggest you get inspired by your gifts and talents and at my best work, and you make your mandala aspirational. It's not a time for modesty. Put words describing your gifts, talents, and how you are when you are at your best. Here's one of mine so you can see what I mean. We do a lot of gratitude exercises in class. Here's a gratitude mandala. Again, in your workbook, you get a blank one so that you can make this your own. One of the most uplifting things we can do is take a census of what's good in life, and this can also lead us to even more creativity. When you create gratitude and grace art pages, it's always an antidote of overcoming feelings of loss and pain, and it will always lift your mood because you're taking an inventory of your life's assets. You can list the names of people you love, people who love and care for you, including the animal companions in your life. It might include being thankful for your health, your home, your garden, your refrigerator of food, your peaceful life. Wisdom traditions teach us that the more you are grateful for, the more will be given to you in life to be grateful for. It's a virtuous cycle. When you express gratitude in this way, you're led to the experience of your own generosity and wonder. The more you make gratitude and grace part of your day-to-day life, the more likely you are to find positivity and daily joy and generosity coming from you and to you. So you think of your gratitude and grace pages as your container or repository for blessings that awaken your heart to new things and increase your sense of abundance. So that's it for now in my art journal. It's a work in process. I hope you see how your journal is a repository for your self-expression. An art journal is the perfect way to explore. All your ideas that you decide to include in your journal are great. All of them are perfect because your art journal is yours. Your pages are treasures for you because they're uniquely yours, and your journal will be there for you every step of the way. If any of this information about the Thriving in Retirement program resonates with you, I invite you to take a leap and invest in yourself. The program is for you if any of these statements resonate. I want to find, know, and live my purpose. I want to wake up excited every day. I want to enjoy the journey and live with daily joy and gratitude. I want to be a role model of well-being. I want to be resilient physically and mentally, active. I want to continue to learn, evolve, and grow. I want to amplify my personal creativity, feel my creative juices flowing. I want to feel fulfilled, confident, and connected to life. I want to be more of who I truly am, more of who my soul sees me to be. I look forward to seeing you in class. Thanks for tuning in.